Yeah, this completes pretty busy first part of the season for us. 8 games in 4 weeks, so this completes that block, and we would love to finish it with 3 points at home, which is obviously our forever goal when we play at BMO is to win those home games, no matter against two. And this would put us in with 9 points after 4 games, potentially, and in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, which would be a great position to be in. But in order to say that tomorrow afternoon, we need a top performance from our boys and physical effort.
Thank you, and we will first go to Eduardo Batista. Eduardo, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, thanks for your time. A quick question on Adam Saldana. We saw he was first announced as MLS Next Pro contract, and then most recently a first team contract. Can you talk to us a bit about that, and then scouting him, and how do you plan to use him in the mix? Thank you.
Yeah, as we built the roster, Adam we saw as a player who's no stranger to the MLS, has had his first minutes in the MLS with the crosstown rivals, and he did very well. And as a for a roster player for us and helping out, I think he's fantastic. But he still has room to grow, and we intend to help him on that path. And somebody we believe can have a bright future, not just here, but at other teams in MLS. So. And as roster building goes, you at the beginning of the transfer period, you try to figure out where you need help, where you need to spend money, where you don't, and being a bit thin in the middle of the park, I think being able to add Adam as a late addition has been wonderful for us, and a credit to him to put in the work to be ready.
Thank you. And if I can get your thoughts on hosting Miami. Thank you.
For us, for me, it doesn't really make a difference who we host in a quarterfinal of a tournament. Our objective is to advance. So it's less important of who the opponent is, and more important of how can we get through in 2 legs. What do we need to do in leg one at home, and then what do we need to do there? And I think the game plan for us should be pretty clear. But yeah, I don't really care who it is.
Thank you, Coach. And just a reminder to everybody who has joined, please raise your hand in the Zoom call, and we will call on you in the order in which you raise your hand. Josh Gross, you're up next.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for the time. What's it feel like to see Ilia potentially on the other side of the field on Saturday, and just speak about the role that he played with you at LAFC and what you lost when he departed, please?
It should be a very positive emotion. We had great success together, and some great conversations and a good relationship. So I'm personally looking forward to seeing him. I'm not looking forward to seeing him as an opponent because he's a good and smart player. I think Austin picked up a great player. But part of knowing each other so well, you kind of know the strengths and weaknesses. And obviously he'll try to exploit ours, and we'll try to exploit his and his teams. And so should be a good matchup, but I'm really looking forward to it.
And coming off the match in Columbus, obviously you got a result, you advanced. Just from an outsider perspective watching that match, it seemed like an emotionally taxing sort of up and down, not the easiest match to live through, perhaps. How did you guys recover off that match? Where is your energy at this stage? You mentioned the heavy early stretch to begin the season, and it's a lot to go through. So where are you now as you hit Game 7 over this stretch?
I believe it's Game 8.
Game 8, sorry.
I'm fine. After a year with the Las Vegas Lights, emotionally, this is all a cakewalk. So I'm fine. And I think the key into these blocks and playing a lot of games and different competitions is obviously having some closure after matches, but in a timely fashion, and then moving on to the next. We don't really have time to talk about what went wrong in Columbus and what went right in LA against Columbus. So we move on, and we are fully focused on Austin and winning a home game tomorrow. And I think that's the key in these blocks.
Maybe not today, but I'd like to hear why Las Vegas was so taxing for you, maybe.
Yeah.
Lastly, on moving into this stretch now? You're going to have a period where you're not going to have midweek games for the next few weeks. What are you looking for over the next stretch here before you have to re-up in the CONCACAF? Just in terms of recovery and being able to work with the guys and getting some extra training time in, what's the value of this period for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you answered your question. I think being able to slow down a little bit, take a breather, and work with the players, work on things that we haven't been doing great, and obviously solidifying or confirming the things we have been doing well. And when you are playing game to game, the training sessions and the actual time you can load guys is between games maybe 40 minutes at tops, and it's really difficult to work on your deficiencies and create a match plan for the up-and-coming opponent that changes every 3-4 days. So we're looking forward to having time with the players so we can slow down, work in detail, and hammer out any questions or concerns players may have, but also work on solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katya, you're up next. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Steve. Speaking of Austin, they've showed strength with that defensive block, even though they're going to have 2 key injuries on that back line. Just what have you seen from this starting the season, and what challenge will they present in that regard?
Yeah, it's a team who feels comfortable sitting in the lower block, not having showed a whole lot of pressing higher up the field. And they are compact and try to be a handful and try to be difficult for teams. Team's solution up until now has been try to kind of cross the ball, but that's kind of right into the thick of their defense where they're excellent defending their box. So we'll try to avoid that as much as possible. So yeah, it's a tough task. We'll see what approach they take, stepping up a little higher or sitting a little deeper, and we'll have solutions for both approaches.
You already touched on Ilia, but Coach Nico was saying that he has been trying to pick his brain because of the time he spent at LAFC. Like, it's normal, of course, when a player was at the opponent's team. Just what do you think he has said, and just like that dynamic of now having to face him?
It's all from last season, and last season I think toward the last half of the season we played in a different system. This year we have shown we can play in both systems. We've tried to vary the way we build, the way we attack. So our ideas should always be free-flowing. They shouldn't always be the same. They're not patterned. So even though Ilia will, I assume, pass on those messages, it should be difficult to prepare for, and our players should understand if they do this, we do that. And this is the way I choose to coach this group, and I'm hopeful that our players will find the proper solutions according to whatever Austin throws our way.
One last one. What has surprised you from Undera? We saw him in that first game, made an immediate impact, just as he has like more training sessions with the group little by little. Just what have you seen, and what has been surprising so far?
Nothing surprising. I think his career is well documented, and I think what we need is to get him involved. We need to get him involved in the final third. I think he has a lot of tools that will help us break teams down, to help us create more chances and also finish them. And so I think we need to get him more involved. That's the key. And that is up to his teammates, not just him.